I'm the boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you!
You wouldn't believe this.
Art 101 with Mr. Burgher.
Well, hello again there, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Art 101 with me, Mr. Burgher, a professional artist and educator attempting to bring you the absolute best in art historical content and videos.
You are more reptile than man!
As always, I appreciate the likes, the shares, the subscribes, all that stuff. Keep in mind, it's free. This isn't Hulu. There is no monthly subscription fee to check out what's going on in Art 101. It's always right here, streamable, free, educational, somewhat entertaining. There you go. I digress. Let's get back to it here.
What are you trying to convince me of exactly?
So not too long ago, I made a video about Norman Rockwell, and in that video, I touched on one of his great works from 1964 called The Problem We All Live With. And in this work, he really changes his outlook, going from predominantly white kids and communities to incorporating African American subjects and civil rights subjects. So I want to, it's kind of topical, it's something that's kind of being spoke about right here in 2020, so I would like to make just a little snippet of the video that focuses in on this great work by our American icon, Norman Rockwell. During Rockwell's career, he created 323 covers for the Saturday Evening Post. Many people saw those as a portrayal of the all-American culture. I suppose that's true if you live in an all-white town. However, in those early years, he never painted anyone outside of white America for those covers. Another little factoid on Norman Rockwell is he is often labeled as a racist because he only painted white kids and he only put white kids on the cover of magazines and whatnot. And that wasn't because of his choosing, that was because he had a publisher, he had a boss, and he wanted to put other groups and other ethnicities on the cover of these magazines, and they said, no, we cater to white people, we don't want a bunch of black kids or minority groups on the cover of these magazines. And he didn't like it. And you can see that in some of the civil rights works that he did. His third wife was very much a proponent of the civil rights movement, and as I mentioned, Rockwell was getting tired of being handcuffed by only painting one aspect of American life. So after 47 years, he would leave the Saturday Evening Post for Look magazine. This new publication would allow him to express his views for the civil rights movement and the war on poverty. He would say, "For 47 years, I portrayed the best of all possible worlds. Grandfathers, puppy dogs, things like that. That kind of stuff is dead now, and I think it's about time."
Fight the power.
Norman Rockwell became a huge advocate for the civil rights movement. One of my favorite pieces they ever created was The Problem We All Live With. This painting illustrates the true story of Ruby Bridges. In the painting we see 6-year-old Ruby Bridges go into her first day of school at William Frantz Public Schools in New Orleans, Louisiana, escorted by United States Marshals. The painting was originally created for Look magazine as a cover and spread piece. The white community did not want her to go, or any blacks to go, to attend their white public school, but the Supreme Court said that they had to let her in. This story was big-time national news, and it very much stirred a fire under the people at Look magazine, as well as Norman Rockwell personally. His outrage inspired this work.
I was, I believe, 17 or 18 years old when I was asked to do an interview, and the reporter showed me a copy of the Norman Rockwell painting. Even though I was accustomed to looking at old magazines and Eyes on the Prize and seeing all that footage, I understood that it was important, but it didn't really hit me until I saw the Norman Rockwell painting.
As with all of Rockwell's projects, he first had to start with finding a model and deciding the outfit and the hairstyle of the little girl. Once all of those pieces were put together, the process of creating the painting could actually start.
Can you still put your head back into these
Okay, absolutely.
Still, you can still kind of go
Definitely.
back there.
Yes, and I do every day.
With her new shoes and dress on for her first day of school, people are throwing tomatoes at this little girl like she's some sort of an enemy. What a way to start first grade. At the school, she was taught on her own floor of the school with only one teacher who was willing to teach this little girl, completely isolated from all other classmates. Rockwell had a belief that he wanted all kids to be kids, and he enjoyed capturing that in his art, and that was robbed from this little girl.
None of us know anything about disliking one another when we come into the world. It is something that's passed on to us. So every time I see that, I think about the fact that I was an innocent child that knew absolutely nothing about what was happening that day, but that I learned a very valuable lesson, and that is that we should never look at a person and judge them by the color of their skin. That's the lesson that I learned in first grade.
I tell you what, friends, I love a story that I'm inspired by, and that story, man, that as a teacher, as an educator, that inspires me. It inspires me to do better. Hopefully it does the same for you too. We'll see you next time.
That's the toughest, meanest, filthiest pest on the face of the earth.